Hello everyone, I'm Christopher, and in this video we're going to take a look at how to display to-dos in our application. So I have my index.html file opened on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I have my app.js file opened. So this is where we are going to be writing all our JS code. So let's start by creating a new Vue instance, and this Vue instance is going to be passed an object, and the first thing we are going to have in this object is going to be the class or ID of the HTML element where the Vue instance is going to be mounted. So we are going to be mounting our Vue instance on this section tag here, and as we can see, our section tag has a class of to-do app. So let's pass that to the object. So we are going to have EL, and we are going to pass it the class of to-do app. Let's save this, and let's go back to our application and reload the browser. And as we can see, there has not been any changes yet. So let's go back to our code, and next for the object we are going to pass a data function, and this data function is simply going to return an object. Now it is inside this object that we are going to have our to-do items. So let's create a variable called to-dos, and this is basically going to be an array of to-do objects. So our first object is going to have an ID of 1. It will also have a to-do completion toggle button state, and we are going to set this to an empty string for now. Again, it will have a to-do completion state, and this we are going to set to incomplete. Then finally we are going to have a text for the to-do text. So this is going to be to-do 1. Let's save all this, and let me quickly explain what I've just done. So this is our first to-do item. It has an ID of 1. It has a to-do completion toggle button state of an empty string. It has a to-do completion state of incomplete, and then the text for that to-do is to-do 1. Now the meaning of to-do completion toggle button state is just a way of being able to know whether the checkbox for this specific to-do is checked or unchecked. And then this to-do completion state is also a way of knowing whether this specific to-do is completed or not. So let's copy and paste this to do. So we are going to paste our second to do, and we are going to change the ID to 2. Let's change this one also to 2. Then we also paste our third to do item. Let's change this to 3, and this is also going to be changed to 3. So let's save all this, and let's go back to our app and reload. And as we can see, still no changes. And the reason is because we have created all these to-do items, but we are not using them in our application yet. So first of all, let's go and remove this list item here. And then we are going to save this, reload our browser, and now we are left with only one to-do item. So inside this list, we are going to have a directive, which is a Vue directive. It's called v4. So this is going to be equal to to do in to-dos. So let's save this, and inside here we are going to remove this text. So we are going to have a double curly bracket, and inside it we are going to have to do dot text. So let's save all this, save this, and reload the browser, and as we can see, our to-do items are now being displayed. So let's go back so I can explain what I've just done. So we have a variable here in our JavaScript file called todos, which contains an array of objects of to-do items. So we are using this Vue directive to loop through each of the to-do items. And so we are creating a new variable here called to-do, so that for every to-do item that we get to in this to-do array, we are going to assign it to this to-do variable. And so inside this our opening and closing, curly brackets, we can simply use this variable here and then refer to a specific key in that specific to do. So for now, we are only interested in the text key. So that is why we use text here. If I change this to ID and save this, let's go back. Now we see we get only the IDs of the individual to-dos. So let's go back and change this ID to text. And finally, what we are going to do is we can see that our to-do items have been crossed out, and that is because of this class over here. So the class of completed is the reason why our to-do items are crossed out, and I explained all these things in the previous video. So in case you have not watched that video, I urge you to go and watch it before you take this particular one. So let's go back, and I guess that is going to be all for this video. And if you like these type of videos, I urge you to click on the subscribe button, as it will help me to create more of these type of videos. So I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.